What if I told you that 90% of gardeners grow vegetables that provide almost zero survival value because they never learned the one calculation that matters: calories per square foot? You can fill an entire backyard with lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers and still starve to death because those crops provide fewer than 50 calories per square foot, while the crops your great-grandparents grew provide 300 to 500 calories in the same space. 11 specific crops deliver maximum calories per square foot of garden space, and tonight I am revealing exactly what they are and exactly how many calories each one produces, so you can transform your hobby garden into a genuine survival food system. Number 1. Potatoes. If you're serious about growing food for survival, potatoes must be your foundation crop. Nothing else comes close to their calorie output per square foot. Here's the math that matters. 100 square feet of potatoes produces approximately 35,000 calories. That is enough to feed one person for nearly 3 weeks from a space the size of a small bedroom. No other vegetable delivers this kind of energy density. When you break it down by weight, potatoes provide roughly 350 to 450 calories per pound. Plant in spring, harvest in fall, and U-lines pull between 1 and 2 pounds per square foot depending on your variety and soil conditions. The storage advantage seals the deal for preppers. Properly cured potatoes in a cool, dark location last 6 months or longer without any electricity, any canning, any special equipment. Your great-grandparents stored potatoes in root cellars and fed families through entire winters on this single crop. Growing them couldn't be simpler. Cut seed potatoes into chunks with 2 or 3 eyes each. Plant for inches deep with 12-inch spacing. Hill soil around the stems as they grow. Harvest after the foliage dies back. Varieties matter for survival planning. Yukon Gold and Kennebec produce excellent yields. Russets store longest. Fingerlings work well in containers if space is limited. Here's the prepper calculation. 40 pounds of seed potatoes planted in 400 square feet produces 400 to 600 pounds of food. That's 140,000 to 210,000 calories from a 20 by 20 foot plot. No other crop matches this ratio. Potatoes are your survival garden's foundation, period. Number TWO. Sweet potatoes. If regular potatoes are the calorie king, sweet potatoes are the nutritional emperor. They deliver serious calories plus vitamins that regular potatoes simply don't provide. The numbers speak clearly. 100 square feet of sweet potatoes yields approximately 25,000 calories. That's slightly less than regular potatoes, but here's what makes them essential: massive vitamin A content. One medium sweet potato provides over 400% of your daily vitamin A requirement. In a survival situation where fresh vegetables disappear, this prevents night blindness and immune system collapse. Calorie density per pound runs 400 to 535 calories, making them competitive with any other root crop. Plant slips in late spring after soil warms. Space 12 inches apart and expect 3 to 5 pounds per plant at harvest. Storage matches regular potatoes when you cure them properly. Keep freshly harvested sweet potatoes at 85 degrees with high humidity for 10 days. After curing, they'll store 6 months in a cool location. No canning required, no freezing needed. Growing zones matter here. Sweet potatoes need warm soil and a long growing season, typically 90 to 120 days. Northern gardeners can still succeed by using black plastic mulch to warm soil and starting slips early indoors. For preppers, the dual benefit is undeniable. You get serious calorie production plus critical vitamins from the same garden space. Growing both regular and sweet potatoes covers your bases completely. 100 square feet of sweet potatoes equals roughly 25,000 calories plus enough vitamin A to prevent deficiency for months. That's survival math that works. Number 3. Dried corn. When it comes to calories per pound, dried corn outperforms almost everything else in your garden. This isn't sweet corn you eat fresh. This is dead corn, field corn. the same grain that sustained civilizations across the Americas for thousands of years. The calorie math is extraordinary. Dried corn delivers 1,600 to 1,800 calories per pound. That's nearly 5 times more calories per pound than potatoes. 100 square feet produces approximately 30,000 calories when dried and stored properly. Storage capability makes corn perfect for long-term preparedness. Properly dried corn with moisture below 14% stores for decades in sealed containers. Your great-grandparents kept corn for years in simple grain bins without refrigeration or special equipment. Growing requires more space than root crops, but less labor than most people assume. Plant seeds for inches apart in rows 30 inches wide. Each stalk produces 1 to 2 ears. Harvest when husks turn brown and kernels dent inward, then dry thoroughly before storage. Processing transforms dried corn into survival staples. A simple hand mill converts kernels into cornmeal for bread, porridge, and tortillas. Whole kernels cook into hominy with a simple lime water process called nixtamalization, which actually increases nutritional availability. Variety selection matters. Bloody Butcher, Hickory King, and Oaxacan Green produce reliable yields and grind well. Avoid hybrid sweet corn varieties, which won't dry properly for long-term storage. The math for your survival garden: 20 pounds of seed corn planted in 500 square feet produces 200 to 300 pounds of dried grain. That's over 400,000 calories from a modest plot. Corn is calorie insurance that stores forever. Number FOU or dried beans. Dried beans solve the one problem other calorie crops can't touch: protein. Your survival garden needs both energy and amino acids, and beans deliver both in a package that stores for decades. Calorie production per area is moderate but meaningful. 100 square feet of dried beans produces 6,000 to 10,000 calories depending on variety and conditions. The real value shows in calorie per pound, 1,500 to 1,600 calories. That rivals corn and far exceeds any fresh vegetable. Protein content separates beans from everything else on this list. Dried beans provide 20 to 25% protein by weight. Combined with corn, you get complete protein with all essential amino acids. This combination fed entire civilizations, and it'll feed your family during any crisis. Storage duration is almost unlimited. Properly dried beans stored in sealed containers in cool, dark locations remain viable for 25 years or longer. Archaeological evidence shows beans stored in ancient clay pots remained edible after centuries. No other garden crop approaches this shelf life. Growing couldn't be simpler. Plant seeds 1 inch deep with 4-inch spacing after last frost. Most varieties mature in 90 to 100 days. Harvest when pods dry and rattle on the vine. Shell beans by hand or crush dried pods in a bag. The nitrogen-fixing benefit makes beans essential for sustainable gardens. Bean roots add nitrogen to soil, reducing the need for fertilizer and improving conditions for next year's crops. Pinto, black, navy, and kidney beans all work well. Plant multiple varieties for diversity. 100 square feet of beans plus 100 square feet of corn equals complete nutrition. That's survival math perfected. Number FIVE winter squash. Winter squash sits in a unique category. Moderate calories with exceptional storage and almost zero processing required. Pull it from storage, cut it open, roast it, and eat. No grinding, no shelling, no soaking overnight. The calorie calculation is solid if not spectacular. 100 square feet of winter squash produces 8,000 to 12,000 calories per pound. Butternut squash delivers 200 to 250 calories. That's less than grains, but significantly more than most vegetables. Storage capability makes squash invaluable. A properly cured butternut squash lasts 6 months or longer at room temperature. No root cellar required, no refrigeration needed. Just a cool corner of your home and you've got food until spring. Growing takes horizontal space but minimal effort. Each plant produces 3 to 5 fruits, averaging 3 to 5 pounds each. Plant seeds after last frost with hills 6 feet apart. The vines sprawl but require almost no attention until harvest. Vitamin content adds nutritional insurance to your stockpile. Winter squash provides substantial vitamin C, potassium, and fiber. During extended emergencies, when fresh produce disappears, these nutrients prevent deficiency diseases. Variety selection matters for storage length. Butternut stores longest, typically 6 to 8 months. Acorn stores 3 to 4 months. Hubbard and blue varieties can last through entire winters in proper conditions. Harvest timing affects storage success. Cut squash when stems turn corky and skins resist fingernail pressure. Leave 2 inches of stem attached. Cure at 80 degrees for 2 weeks before storing. Winter squash is survival food that requires no preservation technology. Grow it, store it, eat it all winter. Simple. Number 6. Jerusalem artichokes. Jerusalem artichokes represent the ultimate lazy prepper crop. Plant them once and harvest forever. They're perennial, they spread aggressively, they survive winters in the ground, and they produce serious calories with zero annual maintenance. The calorie output surprises most gardeners. 100 square feet of sunchokes yields approximately 11,000 calories. Per pound, they deliver around 340 calories, competitive with most root crops. Here's what makes them different from everything else on this list. You don't harvest them all at once. Jerusalem artichokes store perfectly in the ground through winter. Dig them as needed, even from frozen soil, and eat them fresh. No root cellar, no curing, no storage containers. The earth itself is your pantry. Growing requires almost no effort after initial planting. Drop tubers for inches deep with 12-inch spacing in fall or early spring. They'll emerge, grow 6 to 10 feet tall, flower, and produce tubers without any input from you. Next year, they'll return from any tubers you left in the ground. The spreading behavior works for preppers. Most gardening guides warn about Jerusalem artichokes taking over. For survival purposes, that's a feature, not a bug. Plant them in an area where spreading doesn't matter and U-lines have an expanding food source indefinitely. Inulin fiber content does cause digestive adjustment for some people. Start with small servings and increase gradually as your system adapts. The perennial advantage is unmatched. One planting produces food for decades. No annual seed purchase, no annual planting labor, no annual risk of crop failure. Plant Jerusalem artichokes and forget about them until you're hungry. That's survival gardening simplified. Number 7. Parsnips. Parsnips occupy a special niche in survival gardening. Maximum sweetness after frost and storage directly in frozen ground. They're the crop that actually improves as winter deepens. Calorie production is respectable. 100 square feet of parsnips delivers approximately 9,000 calories. Per pound, they provide around 340 calories, matching Jerusalem artichokes and exceeding most other root vegetables. The frost sweetening effect transforms parsnips from ordinary to exceptional. Starches convert to sugars after hard freezes, making late winter parsnips noticeably sweeter than fall harvested roots. Many gardeners deliberately leave parsnips in the ground until late winter specifically for this improved flavor. Ground storage means no root cellar work. Parsnips tolerate frozen soil and can be dug throughout winter whenever the ground thaws enough to extract them. Mulch heavily to prevent deep freezing, and you'll have fresh root vegetables available until spring when almost nothing else grows. Growing takes patience. Parsnips require 100 to 130 days to mature, among the longest of common vegetables. Sow seeds in early spring as soon as soil can be worked. Germination is slow and spotty, so plant thickly and thin layer. Seed viability is notably short. Parsnip seeds lose germination rates quickly after 1 year. Always buy fresh seed or save your own annually. The cold weather availability makes parsnips essential for northern gardeners. When everything else is frozen or finished, parsnips remain harvestable directly from the garden. That's fresh food in January without any storage infrastructure. 9,000 calories per 100 square feet, improving through winter, harvested as needed. Parsnips earn their place in every survival garden. Number 8, IGHT sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds deliver the highest calories per pound of anything on this list. Nothing else you can grow in a home garden approaches their energy density, and they store for years without special treatment. The calorie density is remarkable. Sunflower seeds provide approximately 2,500 calories per pound. That's 50% more than dried corn and nearly 7 times more than potatoes by weight. 100 square feet produces roughly 7,500 calories, limited only by the space each plant requires. Healthy fat content makes sunflowers nutritionally unique. These seeds are roughly 50% fat by weight, providing the concentrated calories your body needs during high-exertion survival scenarios. Fats also support vitamin absorption and provide sustained energy that carbohydrates alone can't deliver. Oil production potential adds another survival dimension. Sunflower seeds can be pressed for cooking oil using simple mechanical presses. Producing your own cooking oil from garden crops is nearly impossible with any other temperate climate plant. Growing is straightforward. Plant seeds 1 inch deep with 12-inch spacing after last frost. Each plant produces one large head containing hundreds to over 1,000 seeds depending on variety. Harvest when the back of the head turns brown and seeds release easily. Seed saving ensures perpetual supply. Sunflowers are open-pollinated and produce seeds that grow true to type. Save your largest heads for next year's planting, and you'll never need to buy seeds again. Storage requires only dryness. Properly dried sunflower seeds in sealed containers last 3 to 5 years at room temperature. Refrigeration extends life further. 2,500 calories per pound from plants that grow anywhere. Sunflowers are survival fat production simplified. Number 9, carrots. Carrots round out your survival garden with reliable vitamin A production and storage flexibility that few other crops match. Their calorie contribution is modest, but their nutritional insurance is irreplaceable. Calorie production is lower than root crop champions. 100 square feet of carrots yields 4,000 to 5,000 calories. Per pound, they provide 180 to 200 calories. You won't survive on carrots alone, but that's not their purpose. Vitamin A content is the real value. One medium carrot provides over 200% of daily vitamin A requirements. During extended emergencies, when fresh produce and supplements disappear, carrots prevent the blindness and immune system collapse that vitamin A deficiency causes. This isn't theoretical. Vitamin A deficiency remains a leading cause of preventable blindness worldwide. Storage options multiply carrot usefulness. They store for 2 to 6 months in root cellars or sand-filled containers. They can remain in the ground under heavy mulch through winter in mild climates. They dry well, can be fermented, and freeze after blanching. No other root crop offers this many preservation pathways. Growing produces food quickly. Most varieties mature in 70 to 80 days. Sow seeds directly in loose soil, then 2 to 2-inch spacing, and harvest when tops reach desired size. Succession planting every 3 weeks extends fresh harvest through fall. Variety selection affects storage success. Danvers, Chantenay, and Nance types store better than slender varieties. Imperator types grow longest but crack more easily. For 1,000 calories plus unlimited vitamin A from 100 square feet. Carrots are nutritional insurance, not calorie production. Grow them for what supplements can't provide when stores empty. Number 10, turnips. Turnips offer something no other crop on this list provides: meaningful calories in just 45 to 60 days. When you need food fast, turnips deliver faster than anything else that stores. Speed defines turnip value. From seed to harvest in under 2 months means you can plant turnips after other crops fail and still produce food before winter. Spring crop fails to frost, plant turnips. Summer drought kills beans, plant turnips. The short season creates flexibility that longer maturing crops can't match. Calorie production is modest, but real. 100 square feet yields 4,000 to 5,000 calories. Per pound, turnips provide 130 to 150 calories. That's less than potatoes, but turnips mature 3 times faster. The dual harvest multiplies value. Turnip greens are edible and nutritious, providing vitamins while roots develop. Harvest outer leaves throughout the growing season without damaging root production. One crop, two foods, maximum efficiency. Cold hardiness extends growing seasons dramatically. Turnips tolerate frost and actually sweeten after cold exposure, similar to parsnips. Plant in late summer for fall harvest, and light freezes improve rather than damage your crop. Storage works without special infrastructure. Turnips store for 2 to 5 months in root cellars or any cool location. They can remain in the ground under mulch through mild winters. No canning, no freezing, just cool storage and monthly checks for spoilage. Growing couldn't be easier, so seeds directly, thin to 4-inch spacing. Harvest when roots reach 2 to 3 inches diameter. No transplanting, no staking, no complex requirements. 60 days from seed to stored calories. When time matters, turnips are your answer. Number 11. Beets. Beets complete your survival garden with a true dual-purpose crop. Calorie-producing roots plus vitamin-rich greens from a single planting. Nothing else delivers this combination of efficiency. Calorie production ranks solidly among root crops. 100 square feet of beets yields approximately 4,300 calories from roots alone. Per pound, beets provide 180 to 200 calories. Add the greens and total food value increases significantly. The greens advantage separates beets from single harvest crops. Beet greens contain substantial iron, vitamin A, vitamin C, and calcium. Harvest outer leaves throughout the growing season while roots continue developing. When roots reach harvest size, the remaining greens are still edible. Double harvest, single planting, maximum garden efficiency. Storage flexibility ensures year-round availability. Beets store 3 to 5 months in root cellars or any cool, humid location. They pickle easily for shelf-stable preservation. They freeze well after cooking. They can even be dried for lightweight storage. Growing succeeds almost everywhere. Beets tolerate partial shade, moderate cold, and imperfect soil better than most crops. Sow seeds 1 inch deep with 3-inch spacing. Most varieties mature in 50 to 70 days. Seed technicality catches some gardeners off guard. Beet seeds are actually clusters containing multiple seeds. Expect multiple plants from each seed and thin ruthlessly for proper root development. Color variety adds nutrition diversity. Red, golden, and Kiaja beets all store well. Different colors provide different antioxidant profiles. Grow multiple varieties for nutritional breadth. 4,300 calories per 100 square feet plus ongoing greens harvest. Beets maximize return from every inch of garden space. You've just learned the 11 crops that transform hobby gardening into genuine survival food production. This isn't theory. This is the exact same math that fed your great-grandparents through depressions, wars, and every crisis they faced. Let's put the numbers together one final time. Potatoes, 35,000 calories per 100 square feet. Sweet potatoes, 25,000. Dried corn, 30,000. Dried beans, 6,000 to 10,000 plus critical protein. Winter squash, 8,000 to 12,000 with 6 months storage. Jerusalem artichokes, 11,000 from perennial plants requiring 0 annual work. Parsnips, 9,000 that sweeten through winter. Sunflower seeds, 7,500 with the highest calorie density per pound. Carrots, 5,000 plus irreplaceable vitamin A. Turnips, 5,000 in just 60 days. Beets, 4,300 with bonus greens. Here's your actionable plan. Start with potatoes this season. Nothing else delivers more calories for less effort. Add dried beans for protein and corn for grain storage. These 3 crops alone can sustain a family indefinitely. Year 2, expand to sweet potatoes for vitamins and winter squash for no processing storage food. Plant Jerusalem artichokes in a permanent location and they'll produce forever. Year 3. Fill gaps with parsnips for winter ground storage, sunflowers for fat production, and beets and turnips for fast harvests and grains. Carrots go in every year for vitamin A insurance. 1,000 square feet planted strategically with these 11 crops produces over 200,000 calories annually. That's enough to significantly supplement or potentially sustain an adult for an entire year from a plot smaller than most suburban backyards. The gardens that fed previous generations through every crisis weren't complicated. They were calculated, calories per square foot. Storage without electricity, nutrition without supplements. Now you know the same math they used. The question is whether you'll plant it. Subscribe for more survival strategies that actually work.